You know, out of the mods that I've played, I've never used mods that have to do with changing abilities. So let's change that. In this video, we're creating a biotic god. Well, biotic gods.
They may laugh when I fall over, but they don't know what I know in my head. That I know that I am amazingly powerful. Fear me?
There are two mods that will allow us to create these monsters. I usually don't do two mods for a video, but I will make an exception when I feel that a video will be too short. But let's get right into this with the first mod called Biotic Bastion. This mod reworks the Adept class to include some tech abilities, so it makes you a biotic tech god. The Adept class is the pure biotic class in Mass Effect. It includes abilities such as Singularity, Pull, Shockwave, Throw, Warp, and Cluster Grenade. But Biotic Bastion replaces some of these abilities with Reeve, Defense Matrix, and Overload. So Biotic Bastion makes you more of an Adept Sentinel hybrid, and having those tech abilities gives you the ability to handle different types of enemies. Shielded enemies are the mortal enemy of the Biotic based classes, because except for Sentinel, they usually don't have an ability to deal with them. But with Overload now available to you, it gives you something to throw at them. Defense Matrix gives you access to shields to boost your defense, and you can expel the shields to damage enemies. Now Reeve replaces Throw, and Reeve attacks opponents from within and keeps them from healing. I guess the reason Throw was replaced is that Reeve handicaps an opponent, which can lead to a quicker kill, whereas Throw is just that. You biotic smack them away for a while. You can finish an opponent with Throw, but it's not the best attack on an initial encounter, unless the enemies don't have shields or armor. But as far as using the class, it's pretty dang fun. The fact that you can use Overload gives you that extra punch. The Defense Matrix gives you some extra protection, and if you have access to Flare as a bonus power, you're just a menace at that point. Because of this, I would recommend playing this on a higher difficulty if you feel things are too easy. Same thing goes for our second mod, which is Biotic Commander. I'm talking about this mod last because this one is a bit more technical. You're gonna need more than just Mod Manager for this one if you want the full experience. But before we get into that, let's talk about what this mod is about. This mod aims to get the most out of the Vanguard class as possible. As the creator Kibose puts it, I hope I said that right, Commander Shepard has been through a lot, so you expect him to be ready for anything given everything that's happened. My Shepard is a powerful biotic who loves charging into battle and obliterating everything that stands between them and his goal. Vanguards are relatively decent at this, though once an enemy comes through wearing shields, he's basically stopped in his tracks. Well, that doesn't make sense to me. You'd think he'd be prepared for that, right? Well, now he is. With some help from his lovely Quarian, he's learned to use his Omni tool so those shields are no longer a threat. To make Shepard into this demigod, Warp, Singularity, Flare, Lash, Reeve, Energy Drain, and Overload have been added to the Biotic Commander class. But Incendiary Ammo, Cryo Ammo, Warp, Pull, and Shockwave have been removed. Now when you look at your full power list, that gives you 9 abilities that are of use to you. But this presents 2 problems. For one, the power wheel is only able to hold up to 7 abilities, and 2, there aren't enough skill points to go around to fill up every ability meter. But we'll touch on how to deal with that in a second. If you decide to use auto level, it will only level up Vanguard and fitness powers, so it's better if you assign the skill points individually. But the good thing is that all of these abilities will be available from the beginning. The creator mentioned that they hadn't verified if the bonus powers work, so I booted up a new campaign to check that out. Flare is my go-to, but since that's now a default option, I chose Dark Channel instead. And the bonus powers seem to work. However, that bonus ability takes the place of the first aid ability, so keep that in mind if you decide to equip one. Now, one thing that you've probably always wanted to do is rank up every power you have, but unfortunately, you're not able to, as you only get 181 skill points to use over an entire playthrough. Now, I don't think this is a big deal. I figured out a long time ago that it was impossible to max out everything without modding the game in some way. Plus, you're not going to be using every ability at once anyway, and if you do want to change your abilities out, you just have to go to the Retrain Powers table in the Met Bay. However, if you do want to max out everything, I'll show you how to do that. You're going to need the ME3 Coalesced utility. This will allow you to edit the Coalesced bin file that comes with Mass Effect 3 Vanilla and Legendary Edition. It's a user-friendly tool for those who want to get into modding. The mod creator suggests that you make a backup of the Coalesced bin file so that if anything happens, you will have a copy of it, unless you don't mind repairing your files. With this mod, I just changed everything back to what it was originally, but it's up to you. You can find the file by locating where the game is stored and following this file path here. When you open the editor, go to Open and go to where the Coalesced file is located. When you open it, you'll see a lot of configuration clusters. Now you need to find biogame.ini and click that. Go down until you see SFX game, and then find XFX game config. Click level rewards equals multiple, and a table will appear to the right with a list of levels 1 to 60, experience required, talent reward, and henchman talent reward. What we need to change is the number for the talent reward. What we're going to do is add 50 points to certain levels. So if you're starting a fresh ME3 playthrough, like you're not importing a save, you'll change the level 1 talent reward from 3 to 53. And if you're importing from Mass Effect 2, you'll most likely be starting from level 30, so you'll change that from 2 to 52. You can do this for any level except level 60 because that's the highest you can go. Just find a level above where you are currently and add 50 to it. This will ensure that you have 231 talent points by the time you reach level 60. And by saving this, you shouldn't have to worry about your talent points resetting every time you load. You can increase the rewards however you wish, but this will ensure that you can max out everything that's not a bonus ability. You can also show your crewmates some love by changing the henchman talent reward for them from 1 to 18. Like I was saying before, you can save your settings to make sure they stick, but undoing everything is easy. You just put the values back to their original numbers. Now as far as your bonus ability, you can use it, but you won't be able to fill up everything, as the 231 squad points are so that you can fill up the 11 slots, as intended. You'll need 252 points to account for the bonus ability, so you might have to play with the Coalesced file to make sure you can hit that mark. Just to test things out, I added 100 talent points to level 30, and yeah, that should be more than enough to max out everything. So what's it like playing as a Biotic Commander? Well, to put it simply,
oh fuck yeah, this is the shit! Kill me now!
It's awesome. It reminds me of the Explorer class in Mass Effect Andromeda, where you're a mix of all 3 classes. Vanguard is already a mix of the Biotic and Soldier classes, but then you add tech abilities on top of that. It's like Shepard has reached his final form. I used the Omega DLC as a part of testing the class out, and you combine yourself with Arya and Nyreen. It's just not fair for Cerberus. Because you're so versatile, everyone just seems to compliment you that much more. The only time I really had problems is when I let the power go to my head. I didn't die, but I came close a few times. There can be a downside to all of this power. As I was saying earlier, the first aid ability will be removed to make room for a bonus ability if you decide to equip one. So the health you have is what you got until the end of the mission. So if you get caught lacking and your health bars get low, it's going to be a bit stressful, and if your crew drops, you're going to have to revive them manually. It does act as a good trade-off for the abilities you have, but not being able to fully recover your health kind of sucks. What I do like is that you have a good mix of offensive and crowd control biotics. Like you have Singularity to scoot some enemies up, Warp and Flare to finish them off, and Lash to deal with annoying enemies like Guardians. And when you eventually get to the Geth, you have some tech abilities. Supplement your crew with someone else who has tech abilities, and the Geth are going to have problems with you. And like I said, you're not going to have room for every ability, and you may not use every ability. But just having them at your disposal, the ability to switch them out, makes for an incredibly versatile Shepard. But that's what I have for you guys today. This video took a bit longer than I thought, but I had to do some testing when it came to the Biotic Commander mod, but overall, I enjoyed both of these mods. Biotic Bastion made the Adept class more rounded, and I can appreciate that, while the Biotic Commander class took the Vanguard class and made a new entity of it. It can also teach you to do some low-level modding, if that's your thing. I recommend checking both of these mods out. The links to them and Coalesced editor will be in the description section below. I want to thank you guys for watching. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.
DJ Sonic 3.